Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 review. So, I'm going to try something a little bit different for this episode of Quick Bits. Instead of going over the summary, and that being way too long, I'm just going to go over what I liked and what I disliked. So, I hope you guys enjoy it. So, what did I dislike about the film? I think what really did it to me was that I had high expectations coming in. I'm the type of person that loves to see main characters get killed off. And when I found out that no one important died, it kind of put me in like a weird place. Hearing all the stuff in the background from the actors like Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, and Chris Pratt, like them saying it's their final Guardian movie, kind of made me think maybe someone dies. But no deaths. I found it hard to like find closure with the characters. But I think that's something that James Gunn does well. The deaths of Lila, Teefs, and Floor were enough for one movie. And in fact, I think those deaths were more meaningful than any possible Guardian's death. Speaking of closure, each character of the Guardians had their own moment of closure. Gamora, early on, needed to find a family. There was lots of lines in the movie about her finding her place in the world, and then ending her journey as the leader of the Ravagers, and then talking about Peter's family on Earth early in the movie with Mantis and Drax down in the ship, and then ending the movie as well as actually Peter's journey on Earth with his grandfather. Mantis searching for her identity in the holiday special, and then thinking she got a piece when she was accepted as a sister by Peter, but then realizing she still needs to discover herself at the end of this movie. Groot starting as the stupid idiot that only a few people understand, to finally ending the movie by saying, "I love you guys." Drax starting the series as a mean, vengeful father who lost his daughter to now dancing with children that he can now call his daughters. Nebula starting off as a lackey of Thanos to now a leader of a full-blown society. And then starting the movie with Rocket feeling out of place, listening to Creep, and then ending with him as the leader. Back to the dislikes. I did think that Aisha and Adam Warlock were kind of out of the place in this movie. In Volume 2, Aisha was built up to be a strict female leader of the Sovereign, and Adam was teased to be like the next big bad of the Guardian saga. And then in this movie, like, they scrapped all of it and then made them comedic relief. They probably they had in the original script, they probably weren't even in the movie. That's like how bad it was. It's like they forgot to add them. Oh, they were in the Volume 2 movie. Oh, we got to add them into the Volume 3 movie somehow. So they just kind of like put them there, copy paste. I don't know. It was weird. I feel like they butchered the characters. Now, I did like a lot of things. There were so many little details that flew over most people's heads, but they didn't fly over my head because, like Drax, nothing flies over my head because I am too fast to catch it.
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
I think that the High Evolutionary is the most interesting character of this movie. He's actually one of my favorite MCU villains that we've seen, but that might be like recency bias. Even in the present, when Rocket has become a famous Guardian of the Galaxy, the High Evolutionary still calls him 89P13. He sees him as a subject and not a person. This is a reoccurring theme throughout the movie. The High Evolutionary was willing to destroy the Sovereign after Adam failed to capture Rocket, and he also blew up Counter-Earth after he realized that they weren't the future. Again, he sees animals as subjects and not people, and I am so happy that they potentially left him alive and not killed him off like every other MCU villain. The subjects versus people is echoed later on when Rocket says, "Save all the higher life forms." Then Rocket quickly realizes that there is no such thing as higher life forms and that everyone is equal, creating a Noah's Ark of animals fleeing the destruction of the ship. When Lila says, "The story's been yours the whole time, you just didn't know it," chef's kiss. That was a weird chef's kiss, but just trust me. This is a nod at like the true main character of the Guardians movies that James Gunn even has hinted at Rocket. There's been so many good quotes in this movie. Like, real quick sidebar, the High Evolutionary, he was like, "There's no God, that's why I had to step in." Oh my God! And then like another God thing, they were like, "There's the hands of us, and then there's the hands of that made us," or something like that. I don't remember, but both of those quotes are amazing. James Gunn, credit to you, that was good. If only you could have done that with Aisha and Adam Warlock. When Rocket gets shot by Adam, Mantis and Peter try to put a med pack on him, but they didn't know that they couldn't heal Rocket. It's only until Nebula comes in that we know that you can't do that, or else he'll die even quicker. Throughout the movie, we can see the strengthened relationship between Nebula and Rocket, because they were the only two Guardians to not blip in the dusting of Infinity War. And they're also kind of similar, because they're both also cybernetically enhanced misfits who need to find their place in the world. In fact, Nebula shows the most emotion out of everyone when she finds out that Rocket is still alive. Rocket also asks for Nebula when he wakes up, because he's the next person that he cares about that's not in the room with him. Another quote, Star-Lord says, "I don't need to listen to another impotent whack job whose mother didn't love him, rationalizing why he's conquering the universe." From him, this is true. He's heard villains like Ronan and Ego and Thanos all spill their spiels. And this is another meta nod by James Gunn. As MCU fans, we can watch these movies over and over and over again, as long as they have a good villain and a lot of punchy boom booms. The first and only time we hear the Guardians theme in this movie is when Rocket is piloting his ship, showing us that Rocket is the Guardian of the Galaxy. We also get nods to the first film, where Rocket's the first one to turn around and fight, opposite from Volume 1, where he was the last one to stand up and fight. Another nod is when they're standing around in the circle at the end, just like the first movie with Rocket sitting down, where he's like,
"Now I'm standing. You all happy? We're all standing up now. Bunch of jackasses standing in a circle."
Something that James Gunn loves to do in these Guardians movies is to undercut big moments with jokes. The humor in this movie is irreplaceable, and I think that it has the best comedic bits out of every movie in the MCU. This stems from Chris Pratt, who has always been funny all the way back to Parks and Rec. While Chris Pratt has always been funny, I think the best part of this movie was Dave Bautista'S Drax. They certainly gave his character more to do in this movie compared to Volume 2, and he certainly delivered. Even though I think Adam Warlock's character was butchered, I think that Will Poulter will bring something new to the franchise in later installments. I also like how they didn't change Gamora back to who she was. They did so much character development in the first 2 volumes, and then they scrapped it, leaving us with a whole new character entirely. I also like the slow-mo hallway scene to No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Everyone helped each other, and they all teamed up as their last team up. As a team, I certainly said a lot of teams in that sentence. I have a review before we get into my review. I have a review from my friend Tyler, who was in some of the Forest videos. He said at the end of the movie, he was like, "I've never been so happy, sad, tired, upset, and have to pee so bad." So I mean, like, it was a good movie. Translation: it was a good movie, apparently. As for the grade, I think it gets very close to the original, which I think it would be like low 90s, maybe. I would have to give it another quick bits. But I would give this movie, I think it's better than Volume 2, not better than Volume 1. But Volume 3 would be an 87. I think it was a good movie. Again, the Aisha and Adam Warlock kind of felt out of place. It was also a pretty long movie. There were some slow parts, but I think the slow parts was what made it a good movie. I look forward to the slow parts, even though I complain about them, but I do. It shows character development. Now I'm just gonna keep rambling on until you tell me to stop. So I'm probably gonna stop, so that you don't have to. Okay. Yeah. So 87 is the grade. Next Quick Bits episode is gonna be actually one of these characters is in this next movie that I'm gonna review. It's gonna be family. That was so bad. All right, let's try that again. Family. All right, that was kind of better. Family. Grumble. Okay. Goodbye, guys.